Free your mind now. Be part of People's Pan-African Parliament, the Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe.
Welcome aboard. Welcome to another edition of the Pan-African Pyramid Show here at Fairwell Hotel. The speaker is Andrew Irumba Katusabe, and this is your true Pan-African Parliament that sits here every Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. And then this version of the show will be running on NBS beginning June 1st. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been joined by major media house in Uganda. They'll be running our show. I think you need to give a round of applause to that achievement. Officially joining the Pan-African Pyramid to champion the Pan-African agenda across the globe. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be 59 years next Wednesday since Africa was liberated. That's what I'm told. So Africa Day is actually formally African Freedom Day and African Liberation Day. It is the annual commemoration of the foundation of the Organization of African Union, which happens every 25th of May. And it happened in 1963. It means we are going to be making 59 years. It's celebrated in various countries on the African continent, as well as around the world. The organization was transformed into the African Union on 9th July 2002 in Durban, South Africa. But the holiday continues to be celebrated on 25th May of every year. The first Congress of the Independent African States was held actually in Accra, Ghana on 15th April 1958. It was actually convened by the Prime Minister of Ghana, by then Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and comprised representatives from Egypt, then a consequent part of the United Arab Republic, Ethiopia, Liberia, Libya, Morocco, Sudan, Tunisia, the Union of the Peoples of Cameroon, and of the host country, Ghana. The Union of South Africa was not invited actually. The conference showcased progress of liberation movements on the African continent, in addition to symbolizing the determination of the people of Africa to free themselves from foreign domination and exploitation. Although the Pan-African Congress had been working towards similar goals since its foundation in 1900, this was the first time such a meeting had taken place on African soils. The conference called for founding of an African Freedom Day, a day to mark each year the onward progress of the liberation movement and to symbolize the determination of the people of Africa to free themselves from foreign domination and exploitation. Ladies and gentlemen, the conference was notable in that it laid the basis for the subsequent meetings of African heads of state and government during the Casablanca Group and the Monrovia Group era, until the formation of the Organization of African Unity, that's OAU, in 1963. 5 years later, on 25th May 1963, the representatives of the 30 African nations met in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, hosted by Emperor Haile Selassie. By then, more than 2/3 of the continent had actually achieved independence, mostly from imperial European states. At this meeting, the Organization of African Unity was founded, with the initial aim to encourage the decolonization of Angola and Mozambique, South Africa, and Southern Rhodesia, what we call Zimbabwe today. The organization pledged to support the work conducted by freedom fighters and remove military access to colonial nations. A charter was actually set out which sought to improve their living standards across member states. Selassie exclaimed, "May this convention of union last 1,000 years." The charter was signed by all attendees on 26 May, with the exception of Morocco. At that meeting, Africa Freedom Day was renamed Africa Liberation Day. In 2002, the OAU was replaced by the African Union, that is AU. However, the renowned celebration of Africa Day continued to be celebrated on 25th May in respect to the formation of the OAU. Ladies and gentlemen, 59 years later, as Africa attained its total liberation socially, economically, and politically, as envisaged by the forefathers in our struggle? If your answer is no, what role can the African youth play from today to realize our forefathers' dream about a free Africa? So the argument is going to be, are we free or not? If we are free, tell us the parameters against which you base your argument that actually we are free. If we are not free, let us know why you think we are not free and tell us what exactly Africa needs to do, especially you, the African youth. Because there is no struggle that can be championed without the youth. Even the freedom we have today, the little freedom that we have actually enjoyed in Africa, those people when they were your age, they left the comfort zones and went and fought for their freedom. One vivid example, remember, what I've read, I was not there, at least I've read in the history books, is that Kalekez, the father of Kale Kaihura Jelma, walked from Nakawa here, and by then it was a bush. He walked up to Sudan. When he reached Gulu, he found another comrade like him, he gave him a bicycle. That bicycle was not new like the bicycle you read today, or even a motorcycle, it was a bicycle, an old one. He rode that bicycle up to Sudan. It is in Sudan that his colleague now from Egypt, Abdel Nasser, sent him a chopper, picked him from Sudan, went to Ethiopia, and they started the struggle to liberate Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, you as youth today in Africa, how far have you done or have you committed your energies in ensuring a free Africa, socially, economically, politically? Tonight, and I will begin with Professor David Kasuti from Meroe. He is a senior lecturer and administrator at Kyambogo University. Give him a round of applause. Professor Kasuti. And next to him is Mr. James Kashaya. James Kashaya is a known Pan-African, but also a very, very distinguished researcher. Also give him a round of applause. We'll begin with Professor Kasuti. Professor Kasuti, the next 15 minutes are yours. 10 are interrupted. The 5 minutes we can allow point of order, point of information, point of correction.
Years later, what more can African youth play to ensure total liberation of Africa? That is the basis of our debate this evening. You see, if the youths are to be engaged in liberating Africa totally, it's important that the youth understand what a liberated Africa looks like. It is important that the youths know what is the objectives of Africa. How will Africa be? How will it be projected? Africa has been liberated. How will it project itself at an international forum? I think this is what the youth must know. But back to where I started. Was Africa liberated? I don't think Africa was liberated. Africa was just released piecemeal by the colonialists. Because when we fought for independence, those who were struggled and in quotes achieved independence actually were given, and the conditions were there. I remember when they were giving up on the Independence Day, the commentator, the British commentator, said, Uganda today is free, but not so free because it will continue being part of the Commonwealth. And then added, on its throne. I know it has chosen it by its throne. I don't think we really had a choice, because the Commonwealth was a continuation of influence by Europe, by Britain, over Uganda and all its colonies that it had. And I have to say that colonialism was ended, but freedom was not achieved. I don't need to build your house to colonize your mind. All I need is to be somewhere and tell you what to do. And if you don't do it, I have sanctions for you. So your freedom is limited. So yes, colonialism was ended, but freedom was not achieved. Now, what can the youth? As I said, youth must know what a liberated Africa looks like. Is it having the freedom to say what you want? You see, our imperial powers are very good. They give you sweets to eat as they are eating the real thing. So we are given the freedom to say what we want. Against our leaders, go to Angenois, freedom for the homosexuals. They are very good at that. But freedom to trade fairly is not fair. That's when that's real freedom. Real freedom is when we are trading. Real freedom is when we are making our own decisions. But our decisions are sanctioned. Actually, even our elections. They supervise our elections. In fact, they have really controlled us so much so that whenever there are elections, I hear many people say, are the Europeans coming to supervise us? How about the Americans? If they don't come, you see, even the British have not come. So this election is a farm, is a sham. We ourselves. They have decolonized, they have colonized us, influenced us, and they sort of corrupted us so much that we don't even believe in ourselves. That state of mind is called external locus of identity syndrome. That means that our identity is external. We don't see ourselves, but we see ourselves through other people. So if we have to have an election which is illegitimate, America and Europe must endorse it. Of course we don't endorse theirs. And it would be a shame if we did. That's the one thing. So we are not free, but we are free in areas that don't matter. Freedom to have children. Freedom to have houses, doesn't matter what the quality. Freedom to go to school and be indoctrinated. You know? So now I will read something from my presentation, not all. Among other things, liberation entails the emancipation of an individual or a community. It entails the setting free of a given community from dependence, foreign influence, controlled by a given individual or community. You know, so you are liberated if you are independent, if nobody is influencing you without your consent, or if nobody is influencing you or controlling you, and you are not accountable to anybody by force. It should be by consent. So the African youth can play its role by ensuring total liberation of Africa, by ending Africa's dependence on foreign ideas, foreign aid, and bigotry. Bigotry means somebody telling you whatever you say doesn't matter. What he says is what matters. Somebody doesn't trust, doesn't respect your opinion. His opinion must be respected by you. That's bigotry. So the youth of Africa must fight these aspects of existence and independence. But Mr. Speaker, previously we had a topic on, in fact for the last 3 weeks we've been talking about the youth. We define the youth as going up to age 25. But in Uganda, we have youths of 30, we have youths of 35, we have youths of 40. Actually, somebody suggested you can keep the youth at 70. That means we never want to leave a certain stage of development. It's called neoteny. You grow, but you remain with your childish characteristics. It is this called social neoteny. You know? In Uganda, we don't understand what the youth is. I said the other time that being a youth is biological. Of course, that's a social element. Most important is biological. That's the time for preparing a person adulthood. Adults, if you are 25, you are an adult. But in Uganda, even our law, actually, there's somebody that our law says that the youth must begin at 30. That's wrong. Of course, even these laws are wrong because they are made by people who are ignorant. If a set of ignorant people sit and make laws, they will be wrong. But then there are laws which must be respected. That's constitutionalism. Constitutionalism dictates that you respect a law, however stupid it is, however wrong it is. In the case of Uganda, calling a 30-year person a youth is wrong. That is an adult and is accountable to this country as an individual. So when I talk of the youth, there is a political youth, that is the one who doesn't end, and there is a real youth, that's the one who goes up to the age of 25. In fact, I want Africa to unite by reorganizing the components of Africa. If you put bricks in a bag just like that, without arranging them, they don't fit. In a short time, the bag is full. But if you still take your time and arrange the big ones on the bottom, the ones, and then the smaller ones on top, you will have a lot of them in one bag, and you will carry them very easily. In Africa, I think we are assuming so much.
Welcome everyone. My brother Kashaya and James Kashaya. That one we have been fighting battles for over 20 years. Of course with you, what are the youth doing? But to go back to the real question is, are we free? We are not. Mr. Kasuti discussed that one very well. We are not. We are under neo-colonialism. We are under neo-imperialism. Are we aware? I don't know, but I'm going to show you how. Just briefly. Look at the composition of wealth in Africa and how much we donate to the world. I disagree with himself on a number of things, but I agree with him on one thing. He says that what we export as raw materials, we are actually giving donations to the world, to the Western world. You give your coffee, you give your cotton to someone to make you a shirt, and then sells you $15 when you sold that cotton or whatever at $1. We are the donors, but we don't know. And much of these resources are coming from Africa. That we are more having what we call a comparative advantage in economics, and that is agriculture, as Africans. But how much are we using it? Ask Kashaya here, who is going to come after me maybe. How much of the national budget in Uganda is put in agriculture? You may cry, because State House gets more. And we are.
Yesterday they asked for another supplementary budget.
Which is about 600 billion. Yeah, now you can imagine, we are Ugandans. And when we was by the way, I agree with him, and I will come to that. We are Ugandans who don't even know how much we are worth. Because a national budget doesn't favor us. Me, I was on coffee. And
when you say it doesn't favor you, when it is, you are the one who elected the president.
I'm coming on that.
The budget is to help the president and his job.
Okay.
So what do you mean?
Now, we have looked at what makes Africa Africa. One, when I was in the School of Economics before I did law at Makerere, was our comparative advantage, agriculture. And I've just told Kashia here, the professor here, our national budget doesn't favor us, the farmers. Now, the farmer have many acres of land, I try to dig, though sometimes things go bad. You get it? But I value agriculture. But how many of the young people here, before you blame the president, you will blame him, actually do agriculture? Here today, people in Africa who have actually showed you that they can make drugs for HIV. Research.
Even cancer.
COVID, doctor, is it Lubago? COVID, our friend, the Ethiopian man. What happens to Africans that come up with research? They are sat on, they are pursued by their own governments because their own governments are under armpits of colonialism and neo-colonialism.
Which now they are elected, even by the only Mr. Chairman. They have mastered even playing football. Some of you who are watching Manchester United and what, before the match starts, there is a clear message that we are united as Europeans against the invasion of Ukraine.
Stop invasion.
Stop invasion. Stop the war. We want peace. I have not seen a parliament of Uganda. Members of parliament said, before we start the session, let's give 15 minutes in competition of South Sudan. Nothing. I have not had the genocide.
There is a position called non-alignment.
Yes.
That is the official position of the
Yes.
government.
There is, by the way, Mr. Professor and the rest, there is a genocide going on in Ethiopia. Tigray. Genocide. Africans are quiet. Genocide, total genocide. More than 300,000 Africans are butchered on daily basis. People are quiet. People are fighting. They are talking about agreements. They are talking about better things. The Pan-African movement, including this one, the Pan-African pyramid, when we are discussing, we are at the level of the continent. By the only meaning, we are still in national parks. They can as well come and take us because we have a problem.
Now, any government, what is named, must ensure that its youth are fed, its youth are skilled, its youth have jobs. Then you can ask the question, what can the youth do? We are having a crisis in this country, Mr. Speaker. 40 years is now the minimum age at which children are living in their father's homes. Do your research. 40 years, which is an abomination in African culture. Children are still in their father's homes. Why? No jobs. The father has sold everything. The child is looking for a job. No job. We were told in a country like Libya, the moment you reached 18, you have a flat. I was told during the time of Gaddafi.
But don't be diverted with Professor Kasutu.
Yeah.
Because
So I was told,
Professor Kasutu,
there are countries, and even Europe. Why are people going to Europe? There is an age. Once you reach the age, you are accommodated by government. They are looking after your accommodation. If you are not working, they are giving you welfare. So now, concluding, finally, the ancient African youth had access to the forest. In our local culture, once you are 18 years, you are given a panga, go and build your ototogo. The person would build. After that, the father gives you a hoe, go and farm. After you have farmed, you come back to your father. Now I'm ready for a wife to keep. The father will now get you his cows or goats, get you a wife. This has now been disoriented.
okay.
The youth of today, yesterday there was an article in the newspaper, 14 million Ugandans are mad. Do you know what's causing the madness? In the human body, there is a biological clock, timing clock. The moment you reach 18, you are an adult. The moment you reach 30, the youth age, you must have a wife or a dominion. Once you're sitting in your father's house and you don't have a dominion, your mental intellect starts to go down.
My name is Dr. Ben Chirige. I'm a very young Pan-Africanist. I can't say that my first time being here, I'm really thrilled and very much energized. I just have a testimony to this. What is going to be to contribute on the topic because of the very prestigious moment I've been given to speak on my first time in this platform. How can the young people contribute towards the liberation of Africa? I'm speaking mainly to the youth. I've heard very well from these wise, intelligent men of Africa. But I start with a quote which says, who pays the piper always dictates the tune, right? Who pays the piper always dictates the tune. Yes. Now, and I love another quote from one of the professors here who said that our center of locus, it's externalized, right? Our youth have an external locus of identity. I was at the airport and I felt like tears flowing into my eyes. thousands and thousands of young people are being ferried into modern day slavery into abroad countries, UAE, and you know they are going on a guise of getting money because we have one mentality. Once you see a Mzungu here, what comes into your mind? How do I get connected with this Mzungu? He's going to make me successful. How do I get a link? Yet, without no offense, most of them are incapable bodies that have been brought in Africa to be trained. And for us, we think they are the gateways to our success. I want to speak about the continuous indoctrination, manipulation, and mind entrapment of the mindset and the whole brain of our young people and we, the young generation. Because if we are not told about this, and I am so much happy that the great men here are really bringing this out. And I love the history, the spirituality connectivity, how you're bringing in all this. And it really continues to give us the power to identify ourselves. But if we do not have these discussions from these great men, and they are being heard by very many people, and we continue to consume that nonsensical, irrelevant information, journalistic articles, you know, because I tell people, they are the trendsetters, and we accept they are the trendsetters. Whatever they set abroad, they put on their news, the media channels, they put on everything. They want to make you believe that Ukraine is having a lot of refugees. There are people killing, people are doing what? They want to make you believe everything. Someone tells you, if you see what Western media portrays, when it comes to Mexico and all that, there is not there are drug addicts, cartels and all. But if you go to Mexico, it's one of the most peaceful cities. I want to comment by saying, if we do not attack, if we do not challenge the archaic system of the colonialism, which has been fully emboldened in the education system, that continuously entraps our minds to think that we are going to be teams or vessels of knowledge without any practical skills. Africa is still having a very long way. We need to challenge the education system. We need to challenge whatever we feed into the mindsets of the young people, for they are the gateways to revelation of Africa.
Patricia Mura, that's my government's name, but I prefer being called a fearless person. What I would like to leave here is that as Africans, we need to be able to see what we are not doing if we want to liberate Africa, especially with the young people. When I was seated there, I asked Dr. Bell, I'm like, but why are women not speaking? Why are women not on the panel? You know, where are the women? Because we can do it. We are fearless. We just need to ensure that in the way we do, in the way we act, we are behaving in a way that even someone who feels that they can't speak, they can't communicate, can stand here and say something. Why are women behind? Why are they not in front? Yes. So then the other thing, if you are seated here, what shows that you're an African? So if you see me, my hairstyle, so I decided to do it. I have some bangles on me, these earrings, they're made with African, you know. So I may have this.
Lipsticks, no.
It's part of like self-care, because our grandmothers used to pierce their ears, they used to use charcoal. So let us not say this is not African. These are things that our grandmothers used to do, but we are just so scared of doing them. Lastly, let us embrace our rituals. Yes, okay. Yes. There are people here who have said they have the supernatural powers. It's true, they have them. Why don't we step down? You know, why do we wear shoes? Because when you step down and you walk, there is a way you connect with the earth.